right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Development Permit Panel meeting of Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. On the panel today, we have myself, Wayne Craig, General Manager, Planning and Development, Milton Chan, Director, Engineering, and James Cooper, Director, Building Approvals. Joining us from the Development Applications team, we have Josh Reese and James Hanowich. The panel deals with items of form and character, things such as parking, landscaping, lighting, and architecture. The panel does not deal with use or density, as those are established through the zoning process, which is not within the purview of the panel. In terms of the agenda today, the order of business, when we get to an item, will be a presentation from the proponent, followed by staff comments. There will then be an opportunity for panel members to ask any questions of the applicant or staff, followed by an opportunity for any members of the public to provide comments or ask questions. We will read any written correspondence into the record, and then there will be panel deliberation. Should a project be endorsed by the Development Permit Panel, it will proceed to Council for their consideration upon fulfillment of any conditions. Please note that when an item does proceed to City Council for consideration, it is non-delegable, so there is an opportunity for members of the public to provide their input. That is today, and we would encourage that input. I'll now turn our attention to the agenda. The first item on today's agenda is adoption of the Development Permit Panel meeting minutes from January 14th of 2026. James? Oh, thank you, Milton. Seconded. All those in favor? All right, those minutes have been adopted. The first item on today's agenda is development permit number 21-928686. The applicant is Urban Design Group Architects Limited. Property location is 10980 number 3 Road. The recommendation before the panel is that a development permit will be issued, which would permit the development of a gas and service station at 10980 number 3 Road on a site zoned gas and service station CG2, and to vary the provisions of zoning bylaw 8500 to reduce the landscaping requirement along a property line abutting a road from 3 meters to 2.1 meters along a portion of the south property line. Who will be providing the presentation on behalf of the applicant?
That would be myself, Wayne, Eric Ching at Urban Design Group Architects.
All right, Eric, I'll turn it over to you. If you could introduce yourself, name and address for the record, and then go ahead and share screen.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. So my name is Eric Ching. I'm principal at Urban Design Group Architects. We are located at Suite 1920, 777 Hornby Street, downtown Vancouver. I'm joined today by members of the Centex Petroleum Organization, as well as my team, including Johnny Zhang of Maruyama Associates, representing the landscape architects for the project. So we've been retained for this proposed development, believe it or not, since 2021, and we're really excited to get to this point and present the project to the Development Permit Panel. If there are no questions, I can just dive into the presentation at this point.
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you. Okay, if you can just confirm that you see the slides on the screen.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Mr. Craig. This is a proposed service station at the corner of number 3 Road and Steveston Highway in Richmond. Civic address 10980 number 3 Road. I'll start with the site. It's a relatively regular, almost square site, 40 meters by 40 meters, 1,600 square meters in total site area. Bounded by number 3 Road on the west and Steveston Highway on the south. We have existing residential developments along the east and the north of the property. That would be the Maples on Steveston and Garden Manor on number 3 Road, respectively. Across the street on number 3 Road is an existing office building development. To the south are existing ALR lands. At the top of the screen to the right there is a quick screenshot of that intersection and the current condition of the site. It's currently vacant. As mentioned in the beginning, this site is zoned for gas and service station CG2 under OCP land use designation commercial. So the proposed development will comprise a 132 square meter service station building with a minor general convenience component. It will also have a 3-pump gas bar with a gas canopy, as shown on the screen here. The development the site is ordered to optimize the exposure of the building and the gas bar canopy as is necessary in this kind of project, in this kind of development. We'll start with the setbacks. Shaded in yellow are the prescribed minimum building setbacks under the city's bylaws. Shaded in green are the minimum setbacks required for canopies. Setbacks for pump islands and above ground storage tanks, which we do not have, are also indicated on the slide. As you can see, both the building and the canopy structure, as well as the pump islands, are well beyond the required minimum setbacks for the site. The building is situated along the east property line, perpendicular to Steveston Highway, which is the main, although both Steveston Highway and number 3 Road are major arterials. Steveston Highway is arguably the more busy street, and the building is oriented perpendicular to it in order to maximize, again, visibility and exposure. Based on the zoning bylaw regulations and requirements, we've provided 3 parking spaces, which are required. 2 bicycle parking spaces as well. It's important to note that the 3 vehicle parking spaces will all be EV charging infrastructure ready. To the north east corner of the site is a garbage enclosure that will accommodate 2 4-yard bins, 1 for recycling, 1 for garbage. I'd like to note that this exceeds the city's 3-yard bin requirement based on our conversation with planners early in the process. The recyclable bin will basically contain cardboard, mixed paper, and containers for recycling. Garbage is anticipated to be minimal due to the limited in-store activity. There will be no dine-in service, and there will be limited organics anticipated in the operation of the service station. In terms of accessibility, the site is fully accessible. We're showing 2 accessibility routes on this slide, 1 in blue, 1 in green. The blue simply indicates the primary route where a person on a wheelchair would be able to access the site along the sidewalks and through the designated pathways and let downs all the way to the front of the building. A secondary route exists from the number 3 road approach. We've designated pavement marking along this route to make sure that the pedestrian and accessibility route is clear, and this would also promote safety when using this route to the building from the north side of the property. With respect to the landscaping, Johnny will be speaking in more detail about the landscaping, but at this point, I'm happy to introduce the proposed trees and planting for the site. There are 2 existing maple trees along the northwest corner that you see in dashed lines. These 2 trees are not in good shape. Were identified by an arborist through an arborist report that they are not in good shape, and they will be or have been removed based on the city's bylaw of 2-to-1 replacement. There are 4 trees required for the development based on those based on the removal of those 2 trees. Despite that requirement, we are introducing 10 new trees, 7 of which, as you see here along the east side of the property, will be primarily introduced for screening along the north, right by the garbage enclosure, along the south, right by the parking spaces. And then 3 more trees will be introduced fronting the arterial roads, number 3 and Steveston. The 7 trees will be Serbian spruce. The 3 along the intersection with the Pacific dogwoods. There is an existing mature Douglas fir on the northeast side of the property that's in good shape, very healthy, and this tree will be retained and protected through the development and construction process. One of the constraints that we had to deal with through the review and referral process was frontage design requirements from the engineering department. So this is really a simplified depiction of what that series of discussions with engineering produced. Basically, the city would like to introduce a new 3.5 meter wide sidewalk along number 3 road, returning around the corner and along Steveston Highway, and as well as a 1.5 meter boulevard on the street side, which is great. It provides additional safety for pedestrians along these 2 major arterials. I understand that these frontage design improvements, or rather the frontage improvements, are in line with the current multi-use pathway plan for Steveston Highway. That's actually already in place. When we started the project, I think that was the improvements were still underway, but I think they're in place, and very nice to see that people are certainly actively using the multi-use pathway. We had obtained and commissioned a traffic study for this site. And very early on, CTS, our traffic engineer, had established that the volume to capacity ratio for this site is well within acceptable thresholds for the mid to even the long term. If I remember correctly, number of projections were made up to the year 2036. When the traffic study was being prepared, we had proposed a limited access along Steveston Highway. As you can see, there's a right in, right out, but an all movements access on number 3 road. Despite that, given those factors, plus the traffic consultant utilizing a more conservative use reference for the proposed building, as mentioned, the volume to capacity ratio on the site we're still well within acceptable thresholds. Through the planning process and engineering review, we have been requested to provide also limited access along number 3 road, right in, right out, and that's been incorporated into the plan, as you can see. We are implementing that right in, right out access along these 2 street frontages via an island splitter. Although this will be a rollover island splitter to make sure that our fuel delivery truck will be able to access and exit the site as shown. You can see the swept path analysis also conducted by CTS, demonstrating that based on the current site plan configuration, there are no anticipated conflicts for a 6-axle transport truck to access and navigate through the site. With respect to noise regulation, we've also commissioned BKL, who looked into the city's noise regulation bylaw to ensure that we are all the components and elements of the development are well within the prescribed thresholds when it comes to noise and noise pollution. One of the things that was the result of that study was a specific design requirement for the enclosure to the rooftop unit. Typically, we design these rooftop unit enclosures with louvered either wood slats or aluminum metal screens. In this particular case, as you can see here in this diagram, if you can distinguish that wall that's shaded, that portion of the screen will be in a solid metal material with only a gap at the bottom for drainage. And this is intended to, again, screen and ensure that noise does not travel past the limits allowed by the bylaw. Particularly to the north of the building on this image, but if we were to go, I'll go back to the site plan, that would be to the east side where there's an adjacent residential community. With respect to lighting, same concept. We are working to ensure that there is no noise and light trespass beyond the boundaries of the property. The site will have 3 light standards, one in the north, one to the west, and one to the south. A very good distance away from the nearest habitable development. On the north side there, it's adjacent to a property line, but there's a lane. And then there's quite a distance between that side of the property and the residential building to the north. While the location helps, we're also making sure that we're using dark sky compliant, full cut-off light fixtures, both for the light standards and the exterior lighting on the building. These fixtures basically cast light directly down onto the floor surface and to make sure that there's no glare or horizontal illumination that's created from these light fixtures. So this is the photometric plan showing the extent of the lighting from these fixtures. So just a quick jump onto the design of the building. As you can see, it's not a very big building. It's 132 square meters. We've kept it nice and compact. It's a simple volume with a vertical feature blade that you can see finished in what we've specified to be longboard siding in a dark fir wood grain finish. Otherwise, the building is fiber cement cladding. Will be clad in fiber cement material. Arctic white is the color of choice based on corporate branding requirements. Signage is also pretty minimal, just the logo on the feature blade. Signage referencing the convenience merchandise within the service station building, and then the address of the development of the building is required by the city. The building is about at the base volume is only about 17 feet high, and the feature panel only exceeds that height by another 12 inches. These are sketches of the gas bar canopy showing the 3 pumps. The 3 pumps are double-sided, so they will service a total of 6 vehicles at any given time. The canopy is 5 meters high to the underside of the canopy, and then you have the canopy proper, or the canopy structure, and I believe the total height of this canopy is at 19 feet. Proposed freestanding signage, again, this is almost a monument sign. I believe they're 14 feet high. We made sure that the size and scale of these signs were respectful of the context and the surrounding uses. And finally, just a few streetscape shots of the development. We've tried to incorporate as much of the existing development in the background to demonstrate the scale of the project as it relates to the context. To the right is the Maples in the image that you're looking at. To the left would be the office building across number 3 road. Apologies. So this view is from Steveston Highway. As you can see, the building, almost more than half of the building facade is glazed. This is a shot from the intersection with the, again, depicting the existing residential developments to the north and the east. And again, another shot from number 3 road. Okay, at this point, I'll turn the mic over to Johnny, who will get into a little bit more detail about the landscape plan. Johnny?
Thank you, Eric. Good afternoon. My name is Johnny Zhang with Mariama and Associates, the landscape consultant for this project. I will be giving a brief overview of the proposed landscape design. Our landscape design integrates several key components, including the street frontages along number 3 road and the Steveston Highway, as well as the side yards and the open space planting areas. Along number 3 road and the Steveston Highway, we have incorporated a planting strip featuring medium-sized deciduous trees, along with a variety of shrubs and the ground covers to create separation between the pedestrian sidewalk and the driveway. A cedar hedge and several coniferous trees have been provided along the north and the east boundaries to create visual buffer for the neighboring properties. The majority of the plant species were selected from the agriculture land planting buffer guidelines, complemented by primarily native and drought-tolerant species. The planting design includes approximately 60% evergreen and 40% deciduous species, which is also supports bird-friendly criteria. And this concludes our presentation. Thanks for your time. We welcome any questions you may have, and would happy to provide further details.
Thank you, Johnny. I will just share one more slide. Okay, so we just wanted to quickly touch on some of the environmental and public safety elements of the proposed service station development. Number one, the underground service tanks that will be used for this development will be double-walled fiberglass tanks. They will come with electronic monitoring, basically to ensure that any water or fuel infiltration that's occurring within these tanks are identified immediately. All the fuel dispensers will also have electronic monitoring systems. They will have emergency shutoffs, and I understand that there will be emergency shutoff systems at the dispensers, in front of the building, and also at the cash counter. Overfill prevention valves are also provided at the fuel dispensers. Also a hose breakaway valve, which prevents any spills should the hose be accidentally yanked from the vehicle while fueling. There will also be a spill containment kit and fire extinguishers all around the site. The spill containment kit will be located, if I understand correctly, at the center island. And then finally, even the fuel delivery, the company that the gas station will retain to deliver the fuel, they actually have their own environmental and safety requirements before they can service a site. But one of the elements that the fuel delivery system introduces is a vapor recovery system, such that when the tanker is refilling the tanks, any vapor that's escaping the process is pulled back into the truck, and this is to mitigate any air pollution that might be introduced through that process. So that ends our presentation. I'm ending it with this again, a quick shot of the development from the street corner. I think it depicts a very simple, very clean design to the development. Again, a service station on a site that used to be a service station and is still currently zoned for service station use. But we've made sure that the size and scale and shape and form of the buildings and the structures were respectful of the scale and density of the neighboring developments. So with that, I would like to end our presentation, and if there are any questions, we'd be happy to provide additional information.
All right, thanks. You can stop sharing screen. Josh, any staff comments?
Yes, a couple of comments, if I may, Mr. Chair. The use of the site is indicated by the applicant in their comprehensive presentation. Confirms, or the use is consistent with the city's zoning bylaw. So gas station is consistent with the city's zoning bylaw. The variance that is proposed is applicable to the Steveston Highway frontage. It is a result of accommodating both on-site maneuvering as well as some of the frontage improvements that are required by the city. All landscaped areas on site will include automatic irrigation. There is hedging that is proposed along both the north and east property lines, in addition to retention of the existing wooden fences in those areas. The SRWs are provided along both the Steveston Highway frontage and number 3 road frontage, which will accommodate the frontage improvements. The frontage improvements will be implemented through a servicing agreement that is required to be entered into prior to the development permit issuance. It includes, in addition to frontage improvements on number 3 road and Steveston Highway, the upgrading of existing storm sewers as well as utility connections. that concludes staff comments.
All right, thank you. Panel questions. James, Milton, any questions for staff or the applicant at this time?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask the applicant about the nature of the garbage enclosure, since it may be a source of noise. Can you comment on the materiality of the structure right now?
Yes, certainly, Mr. Cooper. Maybe perhaps just let me know if you would like me to share the screen again for a graphic
Sure.
or a graphical image. But the garbage enclosure will be constructed out of concrete block with a gate that's typically steel frame with wood slats. Very simple construction. And then to accommodate, like I said, the two 4-yard bins.
Will would there be a roof or a cover on the enclosure?
There's no cover contemplated for the garbage enclosure at this time.
Okay. Will there be an ability to further attenuate any noises with, say, sound-absorbing coatings on the inside of the block wall?
And sound is absorbing coating, and this would be in order to mitigate that noise due to
the mechanical noises from the movements of the bins and.
What we can do is we can certainly connect with our acoustic consultant to see what options there might be. But yeah, I would imagine that it would be no different from any garbage truck coming in to collect the bins on a periodic basis. But we're certainly happy to look into
Thank you.
options. Yeah.
Anything further, James?
So I think I noticed that your lighting on the east facade or the east elevation of the building, the downlighting was mounted on a 9-foot elevation. Is there any chance that I do appreciate that they have cutoff angles, but I also noticed that on the townhouse side across the fence, the lower roof of those units are probably 8 to 9 feet at the fascia, and so they would be about the same height as the downlights. So is there any opportunity to adjust the height of those lights, or maybe consider them as indirect lighting from low level, uplighting the building and the surrounding vegetation? So
Right. No, that's a great comment. Thank you, James. Yeah, and the answer is absolutely. If the exterior light fixtures are there for security purposes, in addition to, I guess I failed to mention that we've designed this site with SEPTED in mind as well. So there's a natural access control along the backside of this building. But in addition to that, we've got lighting, which functions primarily as a security measure. And all these exterior lights need to be is higher than the rear access door that it's above on, that it's over. So it could be the lowest we can install it would be at, let's say, 7'6". Typically, it's at 8 feet. So we can certainly bring that down to about 8 feet. And we can also possibly consider alternate lighting applications, such as you suggested.
okay. No further questions, Mr. Chair.
All right, Milton, any questions from yourself?
Yeah, a couple of quick ones. One on just on the freestanding signs. You noted that it was about 14 feet high, but then in one of the attachments from advisory design panel, there was talk about making one of them a little bit smaller on the number 3 road frontage and moving it in. So can you just comment on that, just to clarify?
Okay, I apologize. I'm struggling to go back and forth my windows here. Okay, yeah. As far as I can remember, we are providing, and I guess the best way to do that is to have a quick look at. We are providing about the same size and scale of a freestanding sign on either side of the property. Yeah.
I can comment on that if you guys like. Yeah, we
Sure,
have
go ahead, Tyler.
we have revised the sign on.
Sorry, Tyler, if I could just interrupt, if you could introduce yourself and name and address for the record.
Yep, sorry. Name is Tyler Moxham, construction manager for Centex Petroleum on the client side.
Go ahead.
Okay. On number 3 road, we have reduced the sign to meet the current bylaw standards, which we're at 12'4" now instead of 14, and a much narrower size of 42 inches.
Okay, thanks. And just to clarify, none of the signage is lit?
There will be price changers that will stay illuminated. They won't flash, or there won't be any items like that, but that will be lighting, and then the logo, our Centex branded logo, would also be backlit.
Okay. And then just one final question on the Stevenson Highway landscaping. Just looking at the landscaping plan, it looks like it's just a single row of, I guess it's honeysuckle. Just wondering if there would be an opportunity to maybe add a bit more variation or visual interest there. Just something to consider with staff going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. We can add a mix of evergreen shrub and low ground covers.
Okay, thanks. No other questions for me?
Thank you. Just a couple questions from myself, primarily related to the landscaping. So thank you for the comment around potential ability to improve the Steveston Highway frontage. I think once we get to panel deliberation, we may have some direction around some of the measures that have already been discussed, further review of the garbage enclosure, review of the lighting along the east side of the property, potential additional tree and landscape planting along the Steveston Highway frontage. But to get to my questions, in terms of the landscaping and specifically the shrub planting along I guess it would be the northeast edge of the surface parking stalls, the 3 parking stalls. If you could comment on the planting material and the height of that planting material as it relates to any potential headlight glare.
You mean the 3 visitor parking?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So the plant material along the parking, the edge of the parking is start from the low ground covers, and going forward is the evergreen shrub is about 4 feet high, and the spread same, and the further is the cedar hedge along the property line. I would say the the cedar hedge would be providing the visual buffer, including the glaring of the lights.
So if I understand, you've got a layered approach to the landscaping along that edge. There's a solid 4-foot hedge that eventually leads into a 6-foot tall cedar hedge along adjacent to the fence, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then just further to that, just seeking confirmation that the 7 trees that are planted along the east property line and to the north, those are evergreen trees. They will provide continuous year-round buffering.
That's right.
All right, thank you. I believe we have some members of the public with us today. Evangel, you can stop sharing screen, Johnny, or that wish to address the panel?
Yes, Mr. Chair. First up, we have Richmond resident Benjamin Gobert.
Thanks for joining us, Mr. Gobert. If you could just give your name and address for the record, and then go ahead with your comments.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. So I'm Benjamin. I'm speaking on behalf of Garden Manor Strata, 20-unit townhouse complex located immediately north to the proposed gas station site. Today we email a formal submission for the proposed gas station. And so our letter includes a reference to documented historical environmental findings associated with the site. The site has already demonstrated environmental sensitivity. The former Chevron station, decommissioned in 1994, required extensive remediation over multiple years. In 2000, a geotechnical report concluded that remediation activities likely contributed to structural settlement in neighborhood townhouse units. In 2012, Benzene exceeded provincial drinking water standards in monitoring well adjacent to the site. Groundwater contamination migrated beyond the surface, the source parcel, and vapor concentrations were recorded. A formal notification of off-site migration was issued under the Environmental Management Act. Moreover, there is immediate residential proximity, and this level of proximity between underground fuel storage and established residential dwelling is uncommon in Richmond. Where a site has a documented history of contamination migration, the threshold for reintroducing fuel infrastructure should be higher. There is also agricultural interface. The agricultural land reserve boundary lies approximately 20 meters south of the site. Given the confirmed history of groundwater migration, the proximity to agricultural land raises broader environmental consideration beyond residential exposures. Moreover, the surrounding area consists primarily of residential townhouse and protected agricultural land. The development permit seeks to reduce the required landscaping buffer from 3 meters to 2.1 meters. The need to reduce standard buffering proves that the site is constrained and raises legitimate concerns regarding compatibility with adjacent residential units. To conclude, our position, given the documented environmental history and the unusually close residential interface, we respectfully request that the city reconsider whether this is an appropriate location for a site, zone, gas and service station CG2. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goddard. Mr. Rees, if I could just ask you to comment on a few items raised by the delegate. So environmental matters fall within the purview of the province. Do we have appropriate documentation from the province related to previous environmental matters?
Yes, Mr. Chair. As part of the application, the applicant did provide a confirmation from the province of BC with a approved certificate of compliance indicating that the site has been remediated and that the use of the site can proceed.
All right, thank you for that. Evangel, we have another delegation, I understand.
Yes, Mr. Chair. The next delegate is Mr. Ming Hui.
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Ming Hui Yu. I live in. I'm the one of the property owner in Maples. Yeah. So my question first is that, can the applicant please explain why I saw one of today's agenda is to reduce the height of the green from the 3 meters to 2.1 meters along the number 3 road. So why? I think so I'd like to know what's the reason behind that. And secondly, I want to comment that the number 3 road and the Stevens Highway is quite a lot of traffic and it's not very safe. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, there was another quite severe accident on the intersection. So now with the gas station, there will be more traffic going to the gas station. So I'd like to know what's the mitigation plan because the traffic on the Stevens Highway is very fast. It's literally a highway. I mean, it's very fast. So if the gas station, the truck start to turn right to the station, and if the traffic behind it still maintains high speed, usually, I mean, it's very common to 80 kilometers, 70 kilometers, quite common. So what's the mitigation plan? And also, I won't be very surprised if there are some cars try to turn left to the Stevens Highway, which they shouldn't. But I guess from the gas station along the number 3 road, along the Stevens Highway, maybe some vehicles try to just after filling up the gas, just try to turn left onto the Stevens. That is quite dangerous. And what's the plan to mitigate this type of risk? And another thing is that. What's on my another agenda? Okay. Yeah, that's maybe just those questions for now. Yeah. So any comments from the community and other applicant? Or maybe another thing that what about if the city, the community, the staff thinking about to have a speed detector reminder on the right before on the Stevens Highway. Before the new gas station, so there are speed reminders so that vehicles on the Stevens Highway can drive a little bit safely. Yeah, that's my comment and the questions. Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you for that. Josh, if I could ask you to comment on these matters, and I'll just reiterate, so in terms of the variance, I believe the variance is associated with the width of the landscaping provided along Stevens Highway. It's limited to a portion of it, but if you could please indicate or confirm that to be the case, and what is the rationale behind that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you indicated, the scope of the variance is applicable to the Steveston Road frontage, a portion of the Steveston Road frontage. The setback variance is from 3 to 2.1. This is in order to allow for both the on-site maneuvering and city infrastructure that is to be located on-site as part in the SRW area. The variance is being considered as part of the proposed development permit. These variances are considered on a case-by-case basis. In this instance, staff felt that the constraints of the site from a maneuverability perspective warranted consideration of a reduced setback variance in this instance. And I will add that the applicant did work quite closely with staff to try to maintain as much landscaping along all frontages as possible.
Thank you. In terms of the traffic-related questions, I'll just, to the delegates, to respond to the delegate, in terms of speed detection, that's really outside the scope of what we're dealing with today. But I will ask Mr. Reese to comment on the city's review of the current traffic management, the frontage works that are proposed as part of this, and then specifically how those frontage works are designed to limit certain traffic turning movements.
So through the chair to the delegate, all applications such as this are reviewed by the city's transportation department. In this case, the proposal has been reviewed and considered by the city's transportation staff. As a result of the review of this application, the frontage improvements do include both new curb, boulevard, and sidewalk to be located along the Steveston Highway and number 3 road frontages, as well as removing some of the existing driveway letdowns and limiting access to only one access on Steveston Highway and number 3 road, both of which are proposed to be right in, right out only, thus reducing the number of conflicts that you would get with people vehicles turning into the site, making left turns into the site.
So,
And the design of those frontage works will include turning guide movement restrictions?
Correct. There are small raised curbs at the entrances to restrict the movements to right in, right out only.
And is there on-site signage included in this to indicate prohibitions on those turning movements?
Yes, there is.
Okay, thank you for that.
okay, yeah, so just to want to confirm that, so there will be a very visual signage on the entrance, so there will be right in and right out, so that on the Stevenston side, if vehicles tries to turn left onto Stevenston Highway, is this will the driver see clear signage that cannot do that?
Through the chair, we will ensure that through the design of the servicing works and frontage improvements that there will be appropriate signage to indicate the restriction on left turns out of the site.
Okay, yeah, another last question is about, just want to confirm that the applicant just mentioned about along the property line to the maple to the west. So the height is about 6 feet, and I think he mentioned 6 feet. The bush is about cedar bush is about cedar hedge is about 6 feet, and how the tree is how high the tree is I forgot the number. Can you see again the tree? The 7 trees, the 3 trees to the source and 3 trees to the north will be higher, and the cedar hedge will be 6 feet. The trees will be 14 feet. Or did I remember correctly?
Okay,
The trees.
just before we move on, are there any other questions? We do need to maintain a certain order to the meeting, so that are there any other questions that you might have? We're happy to get you an answer, but or is this
last 2 questions? Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Reese, I believe the questions are fence height, hedge height, tree height along the eastern edge of the site.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The existing fence height is approximately 6 feet tall. The proposed cedar hedging on site is also around 6 feet tall, which will grow over time to a height taller than the existing fence. With respect to the trees that are proposed to be planted on site, not to confirm the height, but maybe the landscape architect can confirm the height.
Yeah, the height of those coniferous trees are going to be 30 to 40 feet high.
Sorry, if I could clarify, I believe your landscape plan indicates those will be 4 meters height upon planting.
It's going to be 4 meters, yeah, upon planting.
Okay, thank you. Evangel, do we have any other members of the public that wish to address the panel?
No other speakers at this time, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I do believe we do have some written correspondence. One of our previous delegations referenced correspondence. I believe that's the only piece that isn't included in the package. Is that correct?
Mr. Chair, we received 2 submissions, one from Law Tak and Hung Shui, and one from Mr. Benjamin Gobert. And
Okay.
both submissions express concerns about environmental and health impacts and congestion and fuel storage and operation.
All right, thank you. Appreciate all of the members of the public joining us today. Appreciate the written correspondence that we received. In terms of panel deliberation, if I could maybe kick this off, I do appreciate the measures that have been implemented as part of this proposal to respond to some of the adjacencies on this site. I do, however, have some suggestions for the panel to consider in terms of direction to staff prior to this proceeding to council for consideration pending a decision by the panel today. Those 3 measures, or those measures, would be that staff work with the applicant on further design development related to the garbage enclosure to ensure solid screening to deal with any noise, potential noise. That there is a review of the building mounted lighting, especially along the east elevation of the convenience store, to ensure no spillover to adjacent sites, and that there be a detailed review of landscaping along the Steveston Highway frontage to improve and intensify the amount of landscaping that is provided. So, Milton, James, any further direction, support for those items?
I support your items. No further comments.
Yep, same with me.
All right. Does anyone want to move the staff recommendation subject to those items?
So moved.
Second?
All right. I'll call the question. All those in favor?
All right.
Thank you. So just for the members of the public that are joining us here today, there is some further work to be done by the applicant and staff before this item would be advanced to City Council for their consideration. There are also a number of conditions that must be fulfilled by the applicant before this application would proceed to Council. I do appreciate the commentary with respect to the use of the property. However, that is outside the scope of the panel. And in terms of the environmental impacts, that is, again, something that's outside the scope of the panel and within provincial jurisdiction. Next item on our agenda is new business. Mr. Reese?
No new business, Mr. Chair. The next scheduled meeting of the development permit panel is March the 11th.
All right. May I have a motion to adjourn? All right. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.